Hello everyone. So today we'll see the last unit of data structure, that is sixth unit, application of data structure. So we have already discussed the non-linear and linear data structures such as stacks, queued and linked list, and non-linear data structure like tree. So now we'll discuss now application of these data structures. Okay, so the first questions now we'll see, that is application of stack. So the first question, that is explain the application of stack. So you know what is mean by stack. Already I explained in a stack chapter what is mean by stack. Once again I'll repeat. Stack is a nothing but is an ordered collection of elements where it has got only one end, and that end called as a top end, where you can insert the elements and where you can delete the elements. So now we'll see the applications of stacks are. Stack is used for conversion purpose. So what you are converting here? We are converting the expression from one form to another. So there are various expressions are there, as you know. Infix expression is there, prefix expression is there, and postfix expression is there. So these forms are there where the stack is used for conversion. Now stack is used to handle recursive functions. So you know what is meant by the recursion. Recursive means the function called itself again and again till it achieves the goal. So that is, stack is used to handle the such recursive function also. Stack is also used for evaluating of expressions. As I told, there are different expressions are there like infix, prefix, postfix form. So for the such expressions are evaluated by using the stack. Even the stack is used to reverse the given string. So when you want to reverse the string, at that time the stack is also used. Even for checking the well-formedness of parentheses, the stack is very useful. Then stack is also used to convert the decimal number to equivalent binary form. At that time also the stack is used. So stack is what? Stack is very important and very useful for conversion purpose. So second question we will see, that is define the following expression with examples. So first we'll understand what is meant by expression. Already I explained in the class. Expression is a nothing but is a string of operands and operators, where operands are some numeric values and operators are two ways. So what are the operators are of two types or two ways. One is a unary operator, another is a binary operator. So there are three types of expressions are there. One is the infix expression. So where first operand is there, then operator, and then second is operand. Postfix expression. So first operands are taken and then operator has been taken. The prefix expression, first operator has been taken and then second operand is taken. So mainly there are three type of expressions are there: infix expression, postfix expression, and prefix expression. So let's see the first infix expression. In this type of expression, the arrangement of operands and operators is as follows. So now how we are arranging the infix expression? The infix expression is equal to first operand 1, then operator and operand 2. So you can see, for example, here the first operand A and B is what? Operands. A is the first operand, B is the second operand. And whatever you are seeing, the plus, minus, division, multiplication sign, that is called as an operator. So first A plus B is in the form of infix expression. Even in the second example, you can see A plus B, then star mark, and C minus D in parentheses. So these are the different types of infix expression. So in this infix expression, parentheses can be used in this expression. So what here, even you can use this parenthesis, open and close the brackets are these are parentheses. So infix expression are the most natural way of representing the expressions. Second one is a postfix expression. In this type of expression, the arrangement of operands and operator is as shown in the following form. So postfix expression is equal to first operand 1, operand 2 and then operator. So how we are understanding postfix expression is A plus B, means first they will take all operands in your expression and then lastly the preference is given to the operator. So here they have given some example A plus B. So in this example what you are understanding, operand 1 is A, operand 2 is B and then operator. So always you have to first take the all operands and then operators. A plus B, then operand, then C operand and then operator. Here also AB plus E slash then DF plus and then star. So here in the postfix expression there is no parenthesis has been used. In the infix expression you have already seen that the parenthesis is also used there, but here in the postfix expression what they will not use the parenthesis. So all the corresponding operands come first and then operator can be placed here. The third expression, that is prefix expression. So in the prefix expression the arrangement of operands and operator is done as the following equation. So you can see here equations. The prefix expression is equal to operator. So here the first operator has taken and then operands are given the preference. So we'll see the example. Plus is operator, A is operand 1, B is operand 2. In the second example also you can see the star has given the first preference, plus has given the second preference and then operand has given the preference and then minus sign and then again operand has been taken. So these are the different prefix expressions are there. In third example also star slash plus ABE plus DF. This way you can form the prefix expression. So in the prefix expression here also there is no parenthesis has been used. So only in an infix expression they are using the parenthesis. Postfix and prefix they have not used any parenthesis. So all the corresponding operators come first and then the operands are the next arranged. Okay. So now you understood what are the different type of what expressions are there: infix expression, postfix expression and prefix expression. So let's see the next question, that is question number 3. What is a recursion? Explain with an example. So already you know, even in the C language you have learned the recursion. So what is meant by recursion? Recursion is a programming technique in which the function calls itself repeatedly for some input. Means what? If you take one function, you define one function and then what? It will repeat until you will get the result. That is called as a recursion. So for the recursion there are different type of applications are there. So let's see the different applications. First one, for finding the factorial of n number. So to find the factorial of n number, the recursive function has used till you get the factorial of n number. Okay, it will repeat the loop till you get the result. Then next, for obtaining the GCD of number, that is greatest common divisor. Even for multiplying the two numbers, the recursion function is used. For computing Fibonacci of series sequence, there also the recursion is used. So recursion is what? Recursion is a programming technique where the function calls repeatedly till you get the some input. Okay. Let's see the next question number 4. Explain the application of Q. So before going to the applications, now we'll understand what is meant by Q. Already in the what is mean by Q. Q is what? Q is a FIFO data structure. What is meant by FIFO? First in, first out. So here what the data is arranged in a such a manner that the first element enter is being deleted first. That's why it is called as a FIFO data structure. For example, movie collecting ticket queue, where the first person is standing will get the ticket first. So this is the example of a queue. Now we'll see the applications of queues. So queue is used in an operating system for what purpose? For scheduling jobs. Already in your operating system, you all learn what is how to schedule and jobs. So at that time, mostly they will use the application that is nothing but a queue. Here, queues are used in a simulation of a modeling. So what they are doing? Even the queues are used for simulation of modeling. Even the queues used for categorizing the data. Queues are also used for printing the device for channeling the document for printing purpose. Where you are in a queue, you can suppose you wanted to take the printout at that time, you can give at a time the printing command and that will kept in a queues. So there also queues are used. In a circular queues also are used for solving the Joseph problems. This Joseph problem you have already learned in a operating system. Okay. So these are the different applications of queues are there. We'll see the next question now. That is question number 5. Explain the application of linked list. So what is mean by linked list? Linked list is nothing but a collection of nodes where each node is contains the two fields. One is a data and another is a link field. Data which holds the actual value and link field contains the address of the next node. So that is you know what is mean by linked list. So now we'll see the various application of linked list. So linked list first application, that is linked list, is used to representing the polynomial and performing the various operations like addition, multiplication and evaluation on it. So performing addition for long positive integer also the linked list are used here. Then third application, that representing non-integer and non-homogeneous list, the linked list are used. In a compiler for creating the symbol tables, the linked list are mainly used. So in the database for maintaining the several related records, at that time instead of storing in some other data structure, at that time they will use the linked list. So linked lists are mainly used for the polynomial purpose for maintaining the several related records. So it is used even you are performing the addition of long positive integers. So these are the different applications are there where the linked list has been used. Let's see the next question. Question number 6. Here, explain the application of trees. Now we'll see the trees. So what is mean by tree? So tree, you already learned what is mean by tree. Tree is nothing but the collection of nodes which are arranged in a non-hierarchical manner. Non-hierarchical manner means what? You are not following any sequence there. The first node is called as a root node, and after that whatever you are inserting the nodes into the tree, that are called as a child node. Left child again will come, right child will come. So this is a tree. So now we'll see what are the application of trees are here. So trees are used for building a syntax tree. So where they are using? They are using this tree where you can build the syntax tree, which is the compiler checks program for syntactical error purpose. So why they are building the syntax tree, where through that you can check the syntactical errors. Even the trees are used for creating or for solving the arithmetic expressions. So trees are why they are using the, if you form the trees, then even solve the arithmetic expression by using or by taking the help of a trees. Even trees are used for creating the game trees. Means what? Even you can create the game trees here. The balanced trees are created using the tree data structure. Even what the balanced trees are created using the tree data structure. In the database for maintaining the several related records in a hierarchical way, at that time which applications they are using or data structure, at that time tree data structure has been used here. Okay, so these are very important applications of trees. Next we'll see one program, that is C program to find the GCD of two numbers using recursion. So here you can find the GCD of number. So in high school you already know how to find the greatest common divisor factor. Now that we will implement in our program. So hash include stdio.h is the header file. So first we have defined, before going to main, what we have done, we have defined a GCD function where we have passed the two arguments. The first argument is integer m, the second argument is integer n. So here in this function we are checking the condition that if n equal to 0, if number equal to 0, then return m, else n is greater than m, then return GCD of n comma m. This is the function where it will return the GCD of n comma n. Else you have to return the GCD of n by m divided by, our modulus sign is n. So here it is what it will take. It will find out the GCD of n number. Now in the main function we have declared three variables, that is of integer type x, y, z, where they are printing the two integer numbers, that is x and y, where one z is a variable where we assign the function GCD, which are calling this GCD function, which returns the value of x, y, and then it is returning to the storing to the z variable. And lastly, when they will find out the GCD of number, which is stored into the z variable, and then it is printing the value of GCD by the z. So here you can see the output. Enter the two integer number. They have entered the two numbers 8 and 10. So 8 and 10, they have to find out what the GCD of 8 and 10 number is. GCD 2. Okay. So this is the program where you can find out the GCD of two numbers. So let's see the next question, that is 8th. Explain searching technique. What are the characteristics of search? So you know what is mean by searching. Searching is nothing but it is the process of finding the desired record from the list or the element. Now suppose we are declared 10 numbers, in that you want to search a particular number. So what? This is a technique where you are finding the desired record or the desired element from the list, and this technique is called as a searching. So searching can be done using a unique field of the records. So unique field of records you have to take, and from that you need to find the number or the desired record you have to find. So that unique field is called as a key. So with help of key you need to find the particular, or you need to search the particular element. So they have given one example here. If we want to apply the searching technique on the student database. So you know student database, the database where it stores the information about the student. So in this student database, what they are doing, they are finding the particular roll number. So here roll number is considered as a key. Now what you are considering as a key here? Roll number is a key because the value of roll number will be always unique. So you have to find out the key in such a way that key should be a unique value. So roll number, always the one student is having given the unique roll number. Roll number 1, student is only 1. So you have to always find the key like that it has got unique number. So this is the searching technique. Now we'll see the basic characteristics of any searching algorithms. So these are the characteristics of searching algorithm. The searching method should be very efficiently done. So it should require the less number of computations for searching purpose. Always we have to adopt the searching method. It should be that efficiently done, and it should require the less number of computations for a search. Then the space occupied by this method should be less. So these are the some basic characteristics of searching algorithms are there. So let's see the next question, that is write an algorithm to evaluate the postfix expression. So already you know the different type of expressions, infix, postfix, prefix. So for that now we'll see the algorithm for the postfix expression. So here algorithm for evaluation of postfix expression are given by step. So in the first step, read the postfix expression from left to right. Now what we have to do? We have to read the expression from, always you have to go from the left side to the right side. And then if the input symbol read is an operand, then push it on the stack. So what you have to do? You have to take the input symbol, you have to read it that, and operand you have to read, and then you have to push into the stack. In the third step, what you have to do? If the operator is read, then what you have to do? You have to pop. Pop means deleting things. Then two operands and perform arithmetic operations if the operator is plus, minus, star and slash. Plus means what? Then result is operand first, then plus sign, then operand 2. If it is minus sign, then result is what? Operand 1 minus operand 2. If it is asterisk sign, then result is what? Operand 1 asterisk sign operand 2. Slash, then result is operand 1 slash backslash it is, then operand 2 multiplication. So divided. Okay. So the first operand is operand 2 and then second operand is operand 1. So this is the algorithm is for used for what? Evaluation of postfix expression. So and then fourth what? Fourth is push the result onto the stack. After performing these all steps, what you need to do? You have to need the push the result onto the stack, and then lastly you have to repeat the step from 1 to 4 till your all postfix expression is not covered. Let's see the next question, that is question number 10. Comparison between linear search and a binary search. So here I have to linear search and binary search, and I have given the differentiate between what is meant by linear search and binary search. For searching the element by using linear search method, it is not required to arrange the elements in a specific order. As you know that in any searching technique, what first they will do, they will sort the elements in a particular order, either in ascending order or a descending order. But when you use this linear search technique, there they will start searching directly without arranging the elements in a specific order. When you talk about the binary search, the elements need to be arranged either in ascending or a descending order. Means what? When you before searching any element or a key element, what they will do? They will first arrange the elements in a ascending order or a descending order. Let's see the second difference, that each and every element is compared with the key element. So key element means what? The element which you want to search, that particular element is called as a key element. So here they will first compare every element with a key element till you get the particular which element you are finding, that you will get, till that you need to search it. But here in the binary search, the list is subdivided into the two sublists. So what they will do? They will divide the particular elements list in a two list, sublist, that is a left side, left sublist and a right sublist. Okay. And then they will compare the key element with a sublist. Next, third difference, that is here this linear search is a less efficient when you compare to the binary search, and binary search is the more efficient than the linear search. Here it is easy to implement and it is simple to implement and easy to understand. Here it is additional computation is required for computing the mid element. But so as you know that in a binary search, what they will do, they will divide the list into a sublist, and after dividing the sublist, what they will do, they will search the mid element. From the mid element they will make left sublet and a right sublist. So that's why additional computation requires the more time here. In a linear search, It scans one item at a time without jumping to any item. Means what? It will scan only one item at a time. In a binary search, however, it cut down your search to half as soon as you find the middle element. So it will require the less time, and linear search require the more time. So let's see the next question. That is question number 11. Explain sorting technique in details. So what is mean by sorting? Sorting is a nothing but a systematic arrangement of a data. Systematic arrangement of a data. The data can be arranged in a systematically using some key value. So there is one, for instance, in a telephone directory. As you know, the telephone directory, how they are arranged? They are arranged there. Na person's surname is considered here as a key. Hence, in telephone directory, alphabetically person's telephone number can be arranged. So as you know, the telephone directory, how they are made? They are made by the letters from A to Z, and according to that, they will display the name, surnames. Taking surnames, they will display the phone number. So it is easy to get sorted, and it is easy to search from their names. So here, for that, the following are the parameters to be considered while deciding the efficiency of particular sorting methods. Like size of input is very important. That is the number of elements to be sorted. Okay, so these elements are very important here. Now there are different type of various sorting methods are there. Like selection sort is there, insertion sort is there, bubble sort is there, quick sort is there, merge sort. So these are the different methods are there of sorting the methods. Next, question number 12. What is merging? Explain. So merge sort is a sorting technique in which the list is divided into the sublist. So each sublist is sorted, and then sorted sublists are merged together. So what they are doing? First they will give one list, and then that list is divided into the two sublists, and then they will find the elements. So here consider, suppose in merging process of two sublists, we arrange the number in a sorted order. Thus we get the sorted sublist which are repeatedly combined together to form the sorted list of elements. So they are given one example here. Consider the example, that is 70, 20, 30, 40, 10, 50, 60. So this is an list. Now what they will do, this list is divided into the two halves. Like for example 70, 20, 30 make one list, and 40, 10, 50, 60 will divide into list. So like that they will arrange first this list sublist, and then they will go for arranging sublist, and lastly what they will get, they will get the, after sorting, what you have to do, again you have to go on merging the element. So here first sublist you will get 20, 30, 70, and here you will get 10, 40, 50, 60, and again this sublist is now merged together, and then you will get the elements 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, and lastly 70. So this is nothing but a merging. Merging means what? First you have to divide the elements into the sublist, you have to sort those sublist, again you have to join the sublist. So in lastly what you will get? You will get the list which is already sorted. Okay, this is nothing but a merge sort. Thank you everyone.